right, good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Heiferman. I'm the founder and CEO of Meetup, and I've got a real estate problem. I think that as my real estate problem is solved in years ahead, there's gonna be a brand new sort of category of retail and category of real estate business that'll be a multi-billion-dollar industry, and I'll tell you about that. In a little bit. But first, I had a people problem. Yesterday, I had to fire a few people, and it's a normal course of business for a growing company. All healthy companies have to do that, and it's the worst. It's the worst thing. And it's the worst when someone says, "But I have a mortgage." And I woke up this morning and realized that there's actually not anything worse than the mortgage and the career and how hard it is for someone to go through that. But I realized that when I saw some people yesterday at the office crying that they had to say goodbye to someone, what I realized was that was how important it is that people have friends at work. So how many of you, just think about the friend, the one or two or three really kind of best friends you have at work, and how when you're having a bad day, they help you get through it. Or they're just the people that you pal around with, the people that you joke around with, and how important are those people in your life, in your work, that it's so easy to forget. So in the job of firing someone, you think about all this stuff, but then you actually forget that the people back at the office, the people, they're not only are they frustrated with the fact that, oh, now, how are we going to get this other work done, or all these other problems. You forget, oh, life will be a little shittier for someone because that person that they go to lunch with, that person that they talk with at the water cooler won't be there, and and that's a big deal. We'll get through it. Everything will be fine. People will find new friends. It's all right. But that idea of what is the importance of friends, and how does that get worked into business and the economy and all this stuff? This is I should have thought about it because that's my business. So I'm in the business of transforming cities, and it's happening. Many of you probably don't know what Meetup is. Last week, the 1 millionth New Yorker signed up for Meetup. That's 1 out of 8 people in this city are a member of a Meetup. And Meetup is this. Well, actually, you know what? I'm just going to show you what it is here. So this is a Meetup. This is the London Pug Meetup. A lot of ugly dogs and semi-ugly people. Or no, there's some good-looking people. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of good-looking people there. The San Francisco Writing Meetup. Now, when I look at these pictures, I want you to. I'm going to get to what my real estate problem is here. In the 20th century, people thought that the world was organized around big media, big industry, big box stores, people turned away from each other. You don't have to actually talk to each other because you can be like you are right now. Just sit quietly in rows, be good, be good listeners, watch TV, watch movies, watch, and don't, you're not really engaged. You just have to listen to an important person like me. But what's happening here? What do people really want? They want to talk to each other. They want to turn to each other. These people have a dream of being a writer, and they can, they could watch videos, they could buy books about writing, they could pay for a class, they could watch a great teacher, but actually, they can help each other out and be a writer. The biggest category of meetups are moms meetups, parents meetups, people have been hermetically sealed in their homes and cars, unable to actually find the others. And being a depressed new mom is not something that businesses are solving for. And we make it cheap and easy for moms to find each other in town. People practicing a language here in Japan, people doing something, I don't know what the hell they're doing in Toronto. They, London surfing meetup, Hong Kong art meetup, Calgary astronomy meetup, Amsterdam photography meetup. People want to sing, imagine that. The New York City Harry Potter meetup. This is lots of real estate meetups around the world. So there are about almost 20 million members of meetups in 140 countries. Almost every city has a thriving network of meetups. These are women learning to program computers in Philadelphia. Actually, I love meetups like this. This is people basically kind of creating their own gyms or getting fit in whatever different kind of ways outside of a gym system. And it's just really fascinating to see how this, there's a DIY culture. We call it a DIO culture. Do it ourselves, not just do it yourself. People in Hong Kong who are Canadian want to meet up with each other. And people in New York City who are into Japanese culture want to meet up with each other. In Tokyo, they want to meet up about India. This is all just getting bizarre. And in Cologne, Germany, they want to have a tech meetup. So, the hospitals don't really provide support groups anymore, so people have to make it themselves. So there's meetups about all kinds of health conditions. And so what we believe in at Meetup is that not only do you change people's lives by just giving them the simple ability to use the internet to get off the internet and find their people, but that doing so transforms cities. Because what the hell is the point of a city if people don't meet up? And that's such an obvious duh thing to say, but here we are. We launched this little website. We launched the apps. People thought we were crazy, and lo and behold, it works. And the demand is really, really high. Yesterday we had a record-breaking day of 81,000 people joined a meetup group, and this past Saturday, imagine this: more people went to a meetup than could fill Yankee Stadium, Wrigley, and Fenway combined. But they're all in these little groups. And there is sort of the real estate problem. So the number one problem, so how the meetups, we don't organize meetups, we just provide this platform, this app, and someone says, hey, yeah, I'll start the Charlotte Asperger's meetup. And you know what their number one problem is? Take a guess. Where do they meet up? So they end up going, they go into these, restaurants that it's a weird configuration. The most common place that people start meetups, or people go, have their meetups at are Starbucks. But it's like, what if you have more than 8 people? It's noisy. How do you do the seats? And so I have this inside view into the massively growing demand for people to have community space, and this isn't like your grandfather's old Kiwanis Club or your grandmother's old whatever the community center is. Like, we need a new era of great Apple Store-like community centers, and people are willing to pay for it. I believe that like people thought Howard Schultz was crazy when he said that everyday people would, that there'd be this big business in coffee places. 10 years from now, there's going to be in every city lots and lots of great meetup centers, great meetup spaces. As we keep growing and growing and growing, we might want to partner with people who start those businesses and develop that real estate and create that retail category. So I'm Scott at meetup.com if you have ideas on that. Also, my colleague Kristen Hodgson she's our communications director, and we'll be meeting. Say hi to her. But let me just take a final couple minutes to tell you how this all got started, because it's interesting, and it further kind of explains this idea of how you know, the work that I'm doing fits in with the first lines that were said this morning, right at 8:30 or 9, whenever it was. Who's the guy that kicked us off? He said that this gathering here in this room is about building and growing cities. So Meetup is born out of 9/11. I moved to New York from Iowa 20 years ago this year, and I was living at Broadway in Houston, or actually Meetup is based Broadway in Houston, two blocks down, Elizabeth and Houston here in the city, and saw both towers go down on 9/11. And it was in the hours and the days after the towers going down that I found myself, like a lot of New Yorkers, actually just talking to my neighbors more. Simple stuff, people being neighborly, people saying hello to each other in the elevator and in the halls. Nothing, you know, nothing that fancy or special, but it was this powerful idea that actually, you know, neighbors matter and local matters, and even though we're going forward into this great, you know, kind of world of the death of distance, and it doesn't matter where you are because we can all virtually connect. Actually, while people are more connected, they feel less connected, and so you know, the idea for Meetup, you know, in those days after 9/11 was just, hey, how do you use the internet to get people off the internet and create community in a future where that may or may not happen. And so, you know, let me just end with like really emphasizing this idea of, you know, I painted this picture of that the 20th century was, you know, turned people apart. And the 21st century, the defining part of what's going on is that people are turning to each other. They're funding each other on Kickstarter. They're renting rooms from and with each other at Airbnb. They're giving each other rides on Uber. We're unlocking this idea that the internet is not a network of computers, it's a network of people. And the most important thing that's happening is that people are connecting and renting and selling and sharing with each other and meeting up with each other and helping each other out. And that makes for a better city and a stronger economy. And we're just getting started. Thank you, everyone.